It's morning, and that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rotten Mornings. I'm Matt.
I'm Scott.
Wait a minute! That's not how that goes. It's your joke. How dare you?
So, how you doing this morning?
That's my line.
Oh,
What's
okay.
happening? Oh yeah, you're
Well,
Scott.
you're that. So fucking. I'm Scott.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good this morning, I guess. I'm pretty good.
I mean, I guess that's cool and all, but anyways, let's talk a little bit about me.
Cool. You're doing good this morning, man.
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you getting wore out from so much stuff that you're producing?
Nah, not really, man. Just this fucking. My teeth are bugging the shit out of me. I feel exhausted this morning from taking fucking pills, and my lungs are full of treatment, and it's horrid.
Your lungs are full of treatment?
Yes, treatment.
Is that like tree semen?
Yes, correct. Jing, ding,
Okay,
ding.
that's called sap, man.
It's called Treeman, Scott, if that is your real name.
I'm mad.
I knew it.
All right, well, let's jump in because this is going nowhere.
Like every episode, be entertained.
People are like, are you not entertained? We're like, hey, are you entertained?
Are you entertained? Because we're not.
We're not. We're trying to make one episode that we don't want to listen to, and we're getting close. We're getting close. We're about a third of the way through the episodes, right?
Yes. Third, we are. You know what? I'm not going to go over this with you.
Well, okay then. So what did we? Let's talk about some of the stuff we saw yesterday.
Yeah, let's go over the list of all the stuff we had going. So, like in the morning, of course, we had the podcast about the Loch Ness Monster.
A great podcast, by the way.
Great. It's very good. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I giggled.
I cried.
Yes, we did some laughing and coughing.
I think that is probably the hardest I have laughed in a podcast that we have done.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, dude, like seriously, we do this, when we're talking pretty frequently where we get so like laugh so hard that we cry and like that good laugh that you can't catch your breath, and we do that pretty frequently. I just don't know of any time we have ever recorded it. Right?
Yeah, I totally agree. But Brandy has caught us a couple of times guffawing, as it were.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, sneaky camera. I like
Yeah.
it. Great. That's awesome. So we had that episode, and then what else do we have?
Let's see. We had what another was that? We had the new episode of Rotten Strips.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was fun. It was as funny, if not funnier, than the podcast.
Yeah, I like how different the podcast was from Strips today.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Strips really focused on the better parts of things that we do, and the podcast was just a drawn out drudgery of stupidity.
Yeah, like the podcast is like, hey, there is some good stuff in here if you wait 30 minutes for it.
And then turn on another podcast.
That's how you get quality out of. No, that's not the only things that we had yesterday, is it?
Yes, it is. What are you getting at?
No, I thought we had a episode of Rotten House unfinished reviews, or why was I thinking there was a post at 5?
Well, because there was supposed to be a post, but I have not been able to make any Dolls versus Teddy Bear
Oh
stuff.
no, I wasn't saying anything about that.
Well,
I honestly thought there was.
Well, I was going to shuffle the We Are Not Alone to Monday, but I kind of figured that we always hit them heavy on the weekend with a whole bunch of stuff that on Monday would be all right to skip one of the 5 o'clock ones.
Sure, that's fine.
So I just skipped the 5 o'clock one today, and I don't know what the 5 o'clock one is going to be on Wednesday because it's supposed to be a new review. And of course, we did not go to a haunt this weekend.
That's okay. That is okay. This is all going exactly as planned.
Yeah. Better than anything else we've ever planned.
Yeah. Also, have we planned things before?
We don't make plans.
Yeah, we actually made a schedule for this entire month, and then we we had to send it to each other to be like, "Hey, look what we got!"
Look at my schedule.
And then we're like, "Hey, what's on the schedule?"
Look at our schedule.
We have no idea what's on the schedule, so we have
No.
to constantly refer back to what did we agree to? Holy
Yes.
shit.
Every time we have this, I have to go and get the schedule. But tonight, I actually know what's coming tomorrow, so I don't have to look at the schedule.
Okay, but do you know what's coming today?
I mean, today. Damn it.
Oh, if you guys are taking shots,
I
I'm fat and eating a taco. Get
was going
drunk.
to say, that's not the fat taco shot. That's the referring to the wrong day shot.
Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is coming up today?
Okay, so today, of course, you're listening to Rotten Mournings right now. Later.
I love that we tell people what they're doing currently.
Well, fuck, we did a review yesterday of the same thing twice. Whatever. Anyway, so after you listen to this around 5 o'clock, we will have the next episode of We Are Not Alone.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. That's been a fun series.
That's that's a really good episode. That's the Michaela episode.
Ooh. Matt, are we still taking
Yes, we are. We are always taking stories for that, but no one is sending them currently because I'm not bugging people like I was before because I'm doing other stuff.
That's true. Yeah, but if you guys are listening to this podcast in the future, in the not so distant future,
no.
Send us your stories. Cool. So we've got this, which if you're listening to it right now, hi
there.
And then a little bit later on, we've got the We Are Not Alone, and what else?
And then we'll have the next episode of Rotten Strips, episode 13.
Ooh, that's fun.
Lucky numbers.
It is. Matt, the Rotten Strips just doesn't seem to end. Like, all the excitement of putting up an episode is immediately diminished by the dread of
your
you've
next
only got
episode. Yes.
Yeah, you've only got like 48 hours to put another episode up.
Yeah, it's like, here you go. You can rest for like, as long as you want to waste. So you're rushing at the last minute to get your fucking other episode done.
Oh my God. I was like, I'm just going to film this Porta-John.
That's okay. I was like, I was going to say when you were saying earlier, like, okay, so if you're listening to this, hello. I was going to say, stay tuned or come back and see us tomorrow when we remind you tomorrow that we told you today that you were listening to this and hello. And stay tuned for Rotten Strips episode 13, which will probably be me reminding you about how I reminded you that morning about how we reminded you the morning before of hello.
Okay, look, I've got the push pins in the map, and it is not leading to the suspect I suspected.
Here's a fun little a note for everybody when it comes to Rotten Strip. Definitely promise you, will always and continually happens with Rotten Strip. None of the storylines will ever end.
Dang it, Matt. Everything that we have said to be continued, we have abandoned.
Yes. Make to be continued an intro. That is all that Rotten Strips is, like a collection of intros to something and to be continues of something.
Yeah, so and for those of you listening who have watched the episodes, you can tell there's a very distinct difference between the ones that Matt puts out and the ones that I put out. When I put out one, I say this episode is to be continued. And when Matt puts out an episode,
It's just to be
he says,
continued.
yeah, to be continued. All right?
Scott has technical difficulties, right? I have technical difficulty, as in one. I've got it all singled down to one little problem. See, I've got my shit together.
No, you don't. You have technical difficult.
Yes, exactly. It's even less than an object. It's technical difficult.
And then you have it repeatedly. And it wasn't even copied. You typed it that way multiple times.
I literally was thinking about trying to misspell it every time differently.
Yeah.
I thought I misspelled it differently every time. Turned out, spelled it the wrong way, the same every time. Hey, I'm consistent.
That's true. Not good, but consistent. Yeah, that was my Yelp review for my last date.
That you have technical difficult.
Yeah, he had technical difficult and to be continued.
1 star.
Yeah.
Like the intro, nothing happened after it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That basically Rotten Strips is Tool, right?
Well, it's made by Tool. Hey. Cool. So we've reviewed the stuff that was there.
We said what was coming up.
Yeah, so we've met the criteria for a full episode.
For the first half of an episode, yes.
Oh, we gotta do more.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna pop out of here. We're gonna take a quick smoky and then jump back in after the break. Join us for the supernatural part. If you hate that part and are leaving for no good reason, because that's our favorite, like, silly time, have a rotten morning.
Have a rotten morning. You can leave whenever you want to. This is trash.
You can check out anytime you like, but
you can never listen to this again.
Enjoy it.
You can never laugh.
You can never be entertained.
Ever. You can check out anytime you like, but you won't be.
Have a rotten morning.
On a full moon night, a man begins to feel the first stirrings that something is wrong. Frantically, sweating, breathing, he sees his nails change to claws, the hair on his body grow, and he feels compelled to howl at the moon. Tonight's episode, we discuss the werewolves.
And we're back.
Ooh, that sounds spooky.
And we have backs. Okay. We're gonna jump into this episode. I know you're excited about it.
Oh, I'm super stoked about it, but I want to know what you think about it.
Nice. Well, they're one of my favorite cryptids. I think Universal Studios never did specific to that, but they did a version of that, and it was kind of neat. We're of course talking about lycanthropes.
Oh, the Wolves of Were. See, when I was a kid, I thought when they were telling me that that people had oh gosh, what is the lupus? When people told me that they had lupus, I thought that they were werewolves.
Well, and how often did people tell you that?
I mean, not a lot, but some, I guess.
That's fair. If House 6D has taught us nothing, it's never lupus.
Yeah.
But there are certain medical conditions that do cause increased hair growth and things of that nature. So the lycanthrope, the wolfman, which was kind of the universal thing, the werewolf, the rougarou, all of these different
Skinwalker.
shapeshifter. Yeah, Skinwalker too. Skinwalker's so encompassing of stuff, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Could be alien, could be dog humanoid, could be werewolf. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of shit with that.
Yeah, all inside your butthole.
All in. There's my butthole.
Oh, hey, there it is. Where is it? Oh, wolf.
Skinwalker blue cheese.
What do you think? What do you think the idea of like werewolves coming out at the full moon? Where do you think that came from?
Honestly, you want to hear my opinion about where I think wolves came from? Werewolves? It's a fun opinion, actually.
Oh, no. First of all, I want to hear your opinion of where wolves came from.
Okay, werewolves. Yes, where wolves came from. Okay, so I have this theory that all the guys in Ireland, right? Because werewolf is a primarily kind of Irish sort of, out in the whatever fields, fords, whatever the fuck whatever, and they, be at little pubs and stuff, and they'd get drunk and go out, and somebody would get mauled, and they'd be like, oh, it was a werewolf. And I think that in the moon, the whole like connection to the moon, if you think about it, there is a lunar connection to a woman's period. Right?
Oh boy.
I believe that these Irish guys did not really understand what a woman's cycle was. And so when their woman started acting crazy, they cooked up the idea of she was turning into a werewolf because her cycle was lined up with the moon. And then it just kind of got out of control from that. Like somebody was like, oh, she was tearing around the house and growing, a mustache and blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of progressively became that thing.
So she's tearing around the house and growing a mustache.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the story of Where Mario.
Well, I mean, you think of like menopause, and a lot of the symptoms of menopause, if they are like exaggerated, become the symptoms of lycanthropy.
Okay. I'm with you on the journey, brother. If going, it doesn't seem very educated about women's health, but I'm here.
Well, I am very uneducated. I think that originally these Irish people were dealing with crazy women that were all, oh, look at her, she chose her own color of napkin, she's a witch, or whatever. But they like didn't have witches. They were like, she's a werewolf, she's losing her mind, I'm gonna go to the bar and drink with the boys. Kill me.
Okay. So, silver bullets. Why
Well,
does...
I don't think silver bullets. I think that just came to be like way the hell later on.
Maybe it was like silver was so rare in that part of the world that people were like, she's a werewolf. And it's like, oh yeah, how can you deal with it? Silver bullets. I don't have any. Me neither. Just got to deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's like they were like, yeah, for some reason, every time I try to buy my wife a nice silver necklace, she's like, oh no, I don't want it. I want the gold one. She must be allergic to silver.
Yeah. I kept trying to buy her a necklace made of silver bullets.
I don't think it's the bullet that's important. I think it's just the silver piercing the heart. And the bullet is just called a bullet because it's the mechanism to travel it through the heart.
That's fair. That's a very fair statement. Because I really was worried about how werewolves were handled prior to the invent of guns.
The bullets, yeah. Like what then?
No guns, like not bullets. Like we had bullets for a long time before we had guns. We would just throw them at people.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're looking for a historically accurate anything, please don't fact check this episode.
Please don't fact check any episode ever.
Yes.
Or anything we say.
Just don't fact check things. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Don't be a dick.
So we've got werewolves. We have lycanthropy. The full moon, it causes them. Do you think werewolves? It was common that werewolves became hairy humanoids, or are you more enamored with them becoming like large, like dire wolves?
I like the whole American Werewolf in London werewolf.
Yeah. That was very dire wolf.
Yeah, that's always been my favorite, where there's of in between transformation, but there's not going to be like an upright human walking werewolf that's all like muscular man built. He's still going to walk on all fours. Still going to be a wolf.
Okay.
I think the thing that gets lost in translation is what it actually means.
Do go on.
Well, I'm just saying, were does not mean man, wolf.
That's fair.
It doesn't mean that you being a man is subsequently like a cat can't be a werewolf. Only a man can be a were thing, right? But the were doesn't.
So you think and just to break that down, were means half man, half, and then whatever the other word is.
Yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean humanoid. It means that they're either a man at this point or the other thing at this point.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe in the middle ground of the were creature.
So Teen Wolf, no.
Yes, Teen Wolf definitely no.
Okay. I do like the dire wolf. Also, when we were talking about vampires in a previous podcast, we talked about how the vampires at one point in their mythos would turn into wolves, and it was be kind of that dire wolf thing. So I think for me, and that's just me personally, the dire wolf was the complete transformation into an animal, whereas the werewolf, for me, man, it's just like the Waxworks werewolf was the terrifying thing for me.
Yes. And I like that. And there's always been those werewolves too, like the Waxwork werewolf or the werewolf from the way they did it in Howling.
Yes.
That they kind of have those humanistic, like lashing arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a dog could not attack you the way a werewolf attacks you in those things.
Yeah.
Like a dog's not going to get you in a in a reverse German chokehold, you know?
Yeah, I've never been suplexed by a were-dog.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's a werewolf. What? Oh, what's he doing? Oh, is that a 360 flying pile driver? Yeah. You get the but I did like you remember Black Sheep?
yes.
That was a were sheep. That was a really fun story.
Yeah, and it was sort of that. I think it just kind of became the were sheep after it didn't the mayor get like bit by one of the radioactive sheep or something.
Yeah. I think so. I think very similar storyline to Zombievers.
Oh God, I think another DoorDash has pulled up to my house for my neighbor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you talk for a second. I gotta go figure this out.
Okay. So, what we have covered so far is werewolves. We talked about. Honestly, I have no idea what we talked about. I don't normally pay attention during the podcast. And so when it gets to the point where it's just me talking, I kind of have to do a recap of different things. Now,
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Oh God, stop.
oh no, it was really good.
Oh,
People were
I
really
find that
excited about what
hard
I was saying.
to believe.
Yeah, just because you're hard doesn't mean your belief system should be damaged. You just really love DoorDash.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I guess the other thing about I do like the more humanoid, but the more humanoid is almost like for me, I can I feel like I could fend off a wolf, but the Sasquatch Bigfoot sized man wolf thing that would be more terrifying to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like there would be no way. I still don't think there would be much of a way to fight off a dire wolf either, but the humanoid would be way more scary.
Yeah, the big claws, the slashing, the giant teeth, like that sort of thing.
What
That's fair.
really fucks me up about werewolves in that particular existence is how quickly they move.
Yeah, that's a thing, right?
Like you said, in waxwork and howling, like they'll just be standing there still, and the next thing you know, they've swiped at you like 8, 9, 10, 20 times, and they're just going crazy, running at you, swinging their arms. That's what wigs me out mostly about them because they're just so big and imposing. But then all of a sudden, it's like they're moving really fast. You know?
Have you ever done this thing, Matt? Like, I heard somebody else reference it, and I had to like ask some other people about it. But have you ever done this thing in dreams where you have to punch like whoever's attacking you, and you punch super slow?
Yes, that's everything. I think that's
Right.
because your body is actually when you have to be physical in a dream, your body knows what your body feels like when it is going through the action of hitting something. And when you
Mm-hmm.
try to do it in your dream, your body feels your arm not moving. So you're consciously aware that you're swinging slowly because you're not actually swinging at all.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I just think about like that moment of like the dream punch, the very slow dream punch, like feeding into the fear because you know that you're punching slow in a dream, and you're like, why am I punching so slow? Like I'm not going to be able to win this, whatever. With werewolves and vampires move superhumanly fast as well. You know, there's something inherently terrifying about something that you don't think you can move as fast as because you cannot avoid it.
Yeah. Well, it's that one of the reasons I'm terrified of sharks.
Terrified of sharks while you're in the water.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I can't swing my hand to protect myself. Like every movement I make is slower.
Right. Oh, that's so good because in the water it is that way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like the underwater sensation of dreams, and then I think when we see the perception of like vampires and werewolves moving fast, we do feel like we're underwater. We're moving slower to them, or vice versa. They think that we're moving slower, whatever.
Well, that again comes into why it messes me up so bad. Like in water with sharks, I know I move slower. On land with another human, my brain is not going to think he's going to move that much faster than me.
Right.
And when I see it, it's like, this is what does your brain go through? Like so many people, that have, not seen ghosts or anything like that, or this or that, haven't been involved with these things. They're like, oh, well, if this happened to me, I would have done this. If I saw an alien, I would have had my camera out recording every minute of it. And it's like, no, you have no idea what's going to happen to you in life when a situation happens to you that you've never been in.
Dude, it's so true. Like, people like to do that Monday morning quarterback thing where they're like, "Oh, I totally would have done this." I was talking to a firefighter last night, and he was like, "Yeah, the fire truck caught on fire." And I was like, what happened? He's like, "Well, it's on fire, and all the guys are like running around. They had no idea what to do." I'm like, "They're firefighters. Just put it out." And he's like, "Yeah, I just go over and get the hose that's on the burning fire truck. Like, the hose isn't on fire, and I just put the fire out." Like, that's wild.
Because it's like, yeah, I have been trained to, let's say you've got an MMA fighter. I have been trained to fight any man, no matter what. I am always ready for a fight. I am a fighter. The minute I punch somebody with my regular fighter punch and I break my hand on them and they don't move, where does my mind go after that?
Straight doo-doo.
Yeah, because you literally have had everything that you thought was truthful destroyed in a quarter of a second in your mind. Your brain has been broken in a second.
Well, that leads directly into the famous punch on Harry Houdini.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he, on stage, would invite anybody to come and punch him in the stomach. He took every one of those punches, but every one of those punches he had planned, he had prepared for, and all of that. And then randomly after a show one night, somebody's like, "Well, I'm going to test this," and just punches the snot out of this guy.
And it led to his death.
Yeah, that is how that story goes. So we don't know. We don't know what'll happen. When strange things happen.
I know one thing that's going to happen if I walk outside and there's a dire wolf that's like upright with slashing human arms. I can guarantee you one thing's going to happen: defecation.
What?
You said pee, I said defecation. Both of those things.
Yeah. I'll empty anything that I can empty.
And it's interesting because I always hear these stories. Like I was listening to another podcast. They were doing an episode about the Bell Witch in Tennessee, and they were talking about that that Mr. Bell, before all the Bell Witch started happening, was seeing like half creatures around his yard, right?
And, yeah, he saw something like in his yard and he shot at it or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a bunny dog.
He couldn't identify it.
Yes. Right? And it said that they sat there and they stared at each other for all on 10, 20 minutes until Bell finally got his rifle loaded up and then he shot at it, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what you always hear in these old stories. I saw something weird. We stood there for a while. I was like, screw that. I'm going to shoot at it. Dude, I would not have the present sense of mind to load a flintlock gun and shoot at something I've never seen before with glowing eyes and all this stuff. I'd just be like, no, dude, I'm not even going to waste the time trying to deal with this gun. I'm just going to leave.
I am looking forward to, we have an upcoming episode about the Bell Witch, and I'm really interested in some good discussion about that. So it's cool that you're doing that. What's that?
I said, good luck with that. I'll forget all this by then.
Oh, me too. I, in fact, I listened to a great podcast about Bell Witch the other day, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this in our podcast. And now thinking back about it, I'm like, did I really listen to a podcast about a ghost that was shaped like a bell? And, and now it's just like the ghost of Taco Bell is in my head for some reason.
Well,
It's the Bell Witch.
It's funny that you had said the thing about the Bell Witch, and then like I don't want to plug a whole bunch of other stuff, but I definitely listened to last podcast, and they just started a series on the Bell Witch, and they do the most extensive research. So I'll have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and Astonishing Legends, which also does very extensive research, also just did a great podcast series about that. So,
nice. They've only put out one episode. I think they're going to make it like a 3-parter.
That's awesome. There's a lot of material there.
Yeah, about like well, I don't want to talk about it now, but
yeah, we'll get into that. Man, I think we've covered what were we talking about, werewolves? Yeah, I think we've covered what we needed to on this topic. Anything else you want to add to it?
I think that's it.
Well, guys, thanks for sticking around through this babbling session.
Yes, indeed. I hope you enjoyed it as much as you've enjoyed anything
in your life. I hope this is as pleasurable. This is the equal with the greatest pleasure of your life.
Yes.
You guys have a rotten morning.
You have a rotten morning and stay rotten, bitches.